All right, and we are going live. Let's do this. All right. Yay. Here we go. So, hi, everybody. Hey, greetings. Hey, tribe. Sepsanaki here, and so grateful to be here tonight, and really, really excited for my guest that's coming on tonight. One of my favorite humans, Miss Angie Brooks. She will be joining me tonight. Hey, beloved, I see her here. We'll be talking tonight about the beautiful alchemy and the power, the magic of plant medicines. And we'll be talking about their therapeutic uses, as well as answering some of your questions tonight about why you should use these medicines. Who are they for? How do you know if they're safe? How do you vet a practitioner or someone who will be serving you? And also, how do you know if it's the right time for you to participate in a plant medicine ceremony? And how to know the difference between these different medicines. There's so many popular medicines now that are available to us, and sometimes it can be a little confusing. So we're here to kind of unravel and untangle some of the misinformation maybe for you about plant medicines, maybe dispel some of the fear around those medicines, and just make sure that you are educated as much as possible as you're moving through the wellness community and learning what you need and how to best work on your own personal healing and self-care journey. So certainly want to just welcome everybody into the chat. If you're just coming in, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Hey, peace and love, mermaid. Um, yeah, so here we are, you guys. I'm home in Belize, and I want to give a quick shout out to my sister Fabulina. If you're looking at all this beautiful amethyst jewelage going on here, then you are looking at Miss Fabulina out of Atlanta, Georgia. And yes, we are stacking it up here because this is how she gets down. Love to you. You guys go to Fabulina.com if you love raw stones and jewels. I love this woman. Black owned business out of Georgia. All natural raw stones, and you can use my code for 10% off Fab Chef. So if you love, look at this. I mean, get into the stones, y'all. We just want to just show. I mean, just look at. Oh, it's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So love for all the natural stones to Miss Fabulina. We love you, sister. Okay, so in moving on, we want to welcome the beautiful Miss Angie Brooks into our live chat tonight. And we want to say what's up to everybody here on YouTube Live. Peace and love, fam. Showing love to you as well. Hey, sister. Come on into the chat.
Hi, love.
There she is.
I feel like it's been a long time since we have been in space. Yes, it's so good to see you. Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you too, sister. I miss you so much. And I just want to give a brief, y'all, everybody who's coming into the chat, y'all say, hey, Angie, please go and follow this queen. Just love her, y'all. It was so serendipitous how we connected. We actually met through a Zoom call. And that is the reality. And it doesn't feel like that now. Cause I'm like, that's my boo. But we met through a Zoom call, very auspicious random meeting where we were both asked to come and facilitate a 2 week therapeutic plant medicine session in Costa Rica. And this was for a nationally syndicated television show. And we both said yes, and we got on a call with one another, and sure enough, not only were we both like from Oklahoma and had a lot of ties, blood ties,
Yes.
all kind of ties, and we were just really excited to meet. I think we're also both Pisces.
You know it. Oh, the amethyst too.
Do you
Shout out to Miss Fabulina. Yes.
do you see
Yes.
the amethysting over here?
Yes.
So, naturally we connected immediately. We knew that it was meant for us to connect, and they flew us both to LA, and we connected there, and we've just been riding ever since then. So I know that me and the sister have great work to do, and I'm really, really impressed with the work that she's done. So I'll allow her to introduce herself and just, Angie, tell us a little bit about where you're from and the services that you provide. We'll start there. Just keep it simple.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much, beautiful, beautiful sister, for having me. It has been just such a joy in connecting with you, and you already know we're about to get into it and do this much needed work, and really just help people on their journey to whoever it is that they want to be authentically. I think that's the most important thing. And my background. So I am from everywhere. My mother is from Okinawa, which is an island south of Japan. It's considered part of Japan. It used to be a kingdom prior to Japan's rule. And my father is from Oklahoma, and that is the connection that Miss Aki and I have here. My father is also native to the United States. And I have I actually have a pretty strong corporate background. So I think for a lot of you who are out there working a job that maybe is not soul fulfilling, I was there. I totally know what that's like, and I feel like everything happens for a reason. So even looking back on my corporate work, a lot of the skills that I learned there is actually what I'm utilizing now in my own business. And so, yeah, so for all of you who are out there ready to get on your path, just know that it is possible. You just have to have that courage and take a chance on yourself. Many of us are doing a lot of work for other people, and we really need to be out making it happen for ourselves so we can be sustained and then really share from our heart. And so that is now what that's now the work that I do. And it's so funny, and I feel like I shared this with you when you and I met, Aki, that I felt like Spirit had to drag me into this, okay? Because that corporate life, that corporate money was really good. And then I started traveling to the Amazon jungle and working with plant medicine, specifically ayahuasca. And ayahuasca is the reason that I am doing the work that I am doing now, that Spirit had to drag me into. And I work with a frog medicine from the Amazon known as Kambo. And it's a powerful detoxifying medicine. And it has been used for thousands of years to help with purifying the blood, also giving the body stamina, clearing out the physical body, and also the mental and the emotional bodies as well. It's such a powerful medicine on its own. It's not considered a psychedelic. However, it works very well with other psychedelics such as ayahuasca, San Pedro, mushrooms, all of those, because it does a very powerful cleansing and clearing. And I would just say that, as far as like my background, my foundational medicine is going to be my intuition. A lot of what I do is about the connection that I create with other people, also the connection that I have with the spirit of the different medicines that I work with. And through that connection, I receive messages, whether it is through my body, through feeling. It could also be through a vision. It could be words coming through. So it really just depends on maybe the person and kind of what's coming through, how spirit wants to show me what is coming through. And also, another main medicine of mine would be Reiki. And it's so interesting with this because I was doing Reiki when I was a little girl. I had no idea what it was. I was putting my hands on loved ones whenever they felt ill or had something going on, and I would just imagine the pain disappearing. And then many years later, Once I started to get into Eastern medicine, I was doing acupuncture for myself. And one of the women who worked in the office, it turned out she was a Reiki practitioner and she was teaching it. And I was like, oh wow, I feel like this is something that I've been doing my entire life. And come to find out, Reiki comes from Japan. Um, where my mother is from. Okinawa is considered part of Japan, and my mother's name is Reiko. And I was like, wait a minute, I feel like the universe is just really showing me that, full circle here. And so so I've been doing Reiki now for probably a good 11, 12 years. And I noticed just as I began to get deeper into that, all the clearing that it was doing for me in the relationships that I was having, in my friendships, in relationship with food, relationship with environments and things like that. So it was like a really, really, and it still remains a very profound foundational tool that I use when I'm in ceremony. And I would just say now it's really about combining all of those and also having a toolkit, because as an intuitive, a lot of my work, as I mentioned, comes from the connection that I create with the people I'm with, and we go from there.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Someone just said, I want to learn Reiki. Yeah. So, for the audience that is just tuning in, you guys, we are here with Angie Brooks. We're discussing plant medicine and her journey into serving, particularly combo. Now, Angie, from what I recall, when we talked about the story, the ayahuasca was what opened up your deeper intuitive connection to even the combo medicine. If I recall correctly, you in doing the ayahuasca, you were able to just kind of align or tune more into the frequency of what it is that you were supposed to be doing, what your next steps were, and somehow you were sent in onto the journey of discovering this toad medicine very specifically. For the viewers watching, can we discuss what is combo? What is this frog medicine? And how in the world do people get access to this kind of medicine and what it can do for their bodies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. So, a lot of people, let me just preface it with this, because a lot of people are confused by frog medicine and toad medicine. Mm-hmm. So, combo is also known by the indigenous tribes as sapo, and they did not differentiate between toad and frog. So, some of them just call it sapo. But a toad would actually be known as bufo, and that is actually a psychedelic. So we're not talking about bufo, we're not talking about a psychedelic. We are talking about a very specific frog medicine that comes from the frog, the species known as Philomedusa bicolor. Try saying that 3 times. Philomedusa bicolor. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so you are absolutely right. This medicine actually revealed itself to me 3.5 years of me going to the Amazon jungle and working with ayahuasca. I had no idea about the frog, and it's really interesting because the frog actually has a very direct tie to ayahuasca. And thousands of years ago, the legend of Kambo is that there was a shaman named Kampu, and his entire village was ill, and he could not figure out how to heal his village. And so he went and he did ayahuasca, and he asked the question, how do I heal my village? And ayahuasca actually gave him the answer. Ayahuasca showed him how to connect with the frogs, and also how to receive the medicine and how to apply the medicine on his tribe. And that's exactly what he did, and he was able to heal his tribe. So the legend goes that the shaman Kampu is with all of us as we are sharing this, all the practitioners who are sharing the medicine, and for those of you who have received Kambo, the spirit of Kampu is always with you.
Wow.
And so I just saw that somebody asked how to spell Philomedusa. Let me just spell that out for you.
Thank you so much, Angie. I wanna tap right in and say that this is a really important point that you just made about how the brother Kambu got the insight through sitting with ayahuasca on how to heal his
Yes.
village. I want to point that out because I feel like we are in a world where everyone wants to speak directly to God. They want to get answers with how to heal, how to grow, how to be abundant, be more peaceful, how to be healthier. All the things that we want in this life. Every human has that deep longing to connect to God and to get direct answers. And I've watched so many people. There's someone sent me a video recently of a woman saying that she had done ayahuasca and that it was like a portal to demonic possession, that it was, of the devil and all this dark, horrible stuff, right? And in her, and I listened to her story. At first I was just going to block it out, but I said, let me listen to what happened here. And I listened to the story, and after the sister did her ayahuasca ceremony, she left the ceremony, drove to her job, and went to work and did hair all day long. Okay.
Ooh, she's on somebody's crown with that. Ooh,
Okay. And
okay.
immediately I was
Okay.
like, oh my gosh, there's no telling
Wow.
what kind of experience she was having or her client was having. And she said that she couldn't help but just to be just, talking about everything she was seeing in her experience, which we know to keep that container after ceremony is so vitally important. And this is why it's very important not to just listen to what everybody is saying about these medicines, because everybody's experience, not only will it individually be different, but it can also be different based on the medicine itself. It can be different based on the person who served them, their integrity, intention, authenticity, training. So all of these things are vitally important to ask the right questions before you go and sit with a practitioner. But I just want to draw back to say that, the rhetoric around the medicine in those comments was that just go to God, just pray to Jesus for all your answers. And so when I hear this ancient story of someone who is a tribalman living in the jungle, he sees death and destruction around him and he wants to get an answer of what do I need to do right now. I'm sure he prayed aloud to whomever his title of creator was. I'm sure he asked creator to help me. But oftentimes the help that we need is something that creator has left for us, and the intelligence inside of the plant kingdom are astounding, the connection that we have to them as our relatives. So the same way that you would maybe go to your pastor, the same way you may go to a counselor or a therapist to get deep insight into something that can really enlighten and help you to move to the next level. That's what these plant teachers are for humanity, that predates the Bible, that predates the written word, that predates all of this. And so humans, creator in its loving way and wisdom has always given us a portal to deep insight and understanding with how to help ourselves in this world. And this is what these medicines do. So I'm really grateful to hear. I hadn't heard that story, so I'm really that's dope.
Yeah, it's so powerful. And you made just such a great point about people wanting to have that direct connection to God. And here's the thing. We have always had that connection to God because we are God. And God is nature, we are nature, and we have forgotten that. And I think that we have put so much on we've been conditioned to believe that we have to look outside of ourselves, number one, for the medicine, for the answer, and it's always been within us. And I can speak from this very directly because this is my life. I have been so fortunate to come from a mother whose island is known for the longest living people, right? There's a reason for that, right? And it's their connection to the earth. It's their connection and community. It's their connection. It all goes back to the connection. My father comes from a farm in Oklahoma where he and his 14 brothers and sisters grew up from the land. They lived off of the land. So everything, all the animals that are on that farm, the garden, all of that, that's the connection, right? And so when I came along in my generation, I was kind of in that in-between place where it's more modern, pizza, hamburgers, all of this stuff. And so for me, I developed digestive issues. And this was long before I knew anything about energy, my own energy, and how the external things are affecting me. I did not know that I was a highly sensitive person. And what that means is when I go out into the world, I am feeling things on a much higher level in my body, in my gut, everywhere, more than the average person, right? And because of that, and because of the conditioning that I've been taught, and the generational traumas, all of these things, because many of us are healing from these things, and we have to unlearn a lot of what we've been taught. And just to give you a little background of like religion and my view on God, I was raised by my stepfather, who's also I don't see him as a stepfather, and he's a Hebrew Israelite. My real father is a Baptist and a Christian, and my grandfather was a deacon. So when I would spend winter, spring, and summer breaks, we would go to a small country Black church in Oklahoma, which I loved. I was able to get a feel of what that was and what that meant to my family, but I was also confused because what I was being taught from my other dad was something different. And so for me, it was the perfect storm, because through all this confusion, my heart opened up and my heart wanted to find what was right for me, instead of following what everyone else was telling me. And it seemed when I asked questions about religion, I was shut down, and it was like, don't ask those questions, looking down, like, don't ask those questions. You just do what you're told. And that's not my spirit. And so my spirit was like, no, we need to go out and we need to find what works for me. And so through that, I learned a lot about corruption. I learned a lot about through the government, military, all of these things. And I'm sharing this because this is such a big part of not only my story, but it's also the story of many people out there who are watching this, where we have been conditioned to think one way, and yet our spirit is asking for something more. And for me, even though a lot of my family culture has been stripped from my family. And many of you out there know what I'm talking about. A lot of the Native people in the United States, we're not connected to our culture, right? And even on my Okinawan side, because I grew up in the United States, I didn't have that connection. And so where I was called was to go to the Amazon jungle, where I felt a very, very strong connection. And through going there, I actually discovered that this work that I'm actually doing is not just for myself. This has always been for my ancestors, and it's always been for the future generations. And I just happen to choose to come into this particular vessel and say, I'm signing up for this. And trust me, there are many days where I'm like, oh, Lord.
What the hell did I do?
Because let me tell you something. It is real. Like when you get into working with plant medicines, and let me just make a definition here, because plant medicines aren't all psychedelics, and so but we do kind of use the two terms interchangeably.
Sure.
So plant medicine could be like you're working with herbs where you're not getting that psychedelic experience. Psychedelics are going to be where you are able to tune into another realm. And for me, that's where I live best. I'm a Pisces. You already know what I'm talking about, Aki, because you're a Pisces as well.
Yes.
It's easy, very easy for us to go there.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to tune in?
Well, yes, but I was going to say that I feel like when I think about the psychedelics, immediately I want to rename the entire line of these specific medicines, these magic medicines, because I think people hear psychedelic and they immediately assume that they are going to be so out of control and so uncomfortable that they veer away from even being open to it. But I think that the what I have found is that people who come to these medicines, they typically come because they are so fed up with the circles that they're going in circles in their life so much that they are just they don't even care anymore if it's going to become uncomfortable and if they're going to feel out of control, that they're ready to just surrender their lives and trust that spirit is going to be working with and through these medicines and the practitioners so that they can have a different story to tell. They can have a different experience and hopefully enter into a healing. That certainly was the case with me. And I think particularly for Black, Indigenous people of color, we do not do psychedelic. Like we're just now seeing this new thing happening where we're finally open to the idea of some of these psychedelic medicines, right? And the therapeutic use of microdosing, et cetera. I'm really starting to see that more in the last 5 years. But when I started serving these medicines 14 years ago, it was unheard of. You could not talk to Black people about psychedelics without them thinking you're crazy. I certainly did. The first thing I thought was, I don't want to be out of control. I don't want to do anything that is going to leave me out of control. And my teacher said to me, well, then you're never going to grow. And he said, do you want to be powerful or do you want to be in control? You know, because it's, and